It's Tuesday night, it's 7 p.m., and that can only mean one of two things. Either Jeopardy's on, or this is UMass Sports Weekly, your number one source for all things UMass sports. As you can probably see, I'm attractive and I don't laugh at my own jokes, so I am not Alex Trebek. Therefore, this is UMass Sports Weekly, and boy, do we have a good show for you today. First, we're going to talk about the homecoming game where UMass football took on Tulane in a game that started off great, didn't end quite well, though. Our own Victoria Svensson is here, and she'll get into the coverage of that. After that, Allie was at the women's field hockey game on Sunday. They took on St. Francis, another A-10 opponent. A clobbering at the hands of the Red Flash. The Minutewomen gave it everything they had and won 3-0. Allie will break that down for you. We have live updates on the men's soccer team who played today, and we'll give you a recap of the men's hockey game who finished earlier this weekend. To finish off the show, all reliable, my old yeller, Liam Byrne comes in, and we're going to talk some women's soccer and two tough losses this weekend. Remember, it's not Jeopardy, so you can actually laugh and have fun, because this is UMass Sports Weekly.
This is UMass Sports Weekly.
And welcome back in. Hope you saw Victor Cruz. He's a really nice guy. Like I said, homecoming was this weekend. The Minutemen at McGurk Stadium took on Tulane University. Our own Victoria Svensson was there with the story.
It was homecoming weekend, and the UMass Minutemen played the Tulane Green Wave at McGurk Alumni Stadium. UMass looked strong to start. The defense got Tulane off the field fast in the opening drive. The offense was able to put together a quick march down the field after a good run from Andy Isabella. Adam Brenneman was able to put them inside the 20 with a clean catch. The drive resulted in an Andy Isabella touchdown under 4 minutes into the first quarter. On the kickoff, Tulane fumbled and freshman Marcus O'Daya recovered the ball for UMass. On the next play, Andrew Ford found Andy Isabella in the end zone for yet another Minutemen touchdown. At the start of the second half, UMass led Tulane 14-10. UMass fumbled the ball, Tulane recovered. About 50 seconds into the third, Tulane scored a touchdown. The Minutemen had no response for the Green Wave, and they scored yet another touchdown, now putting Green Wave up 24-14. UMass replaced Andrew Ford at quarterback with Ross Comas at the start of the fourth. He could not get them into the end zone, but the offense was still able to put up a 28-yard field goal. The defense could not stop Tulane, so they responded with another touchdown. Comas and the offense were able to string together good plays, and sophomore running back Lindsay finished the drive with a good run on the outside for a touchdown. The defense got Tulane off the field fast, but the offense could not capitalize on their last chance and got stopped on fourth down.
So as you saw, a 31-24 loss at the hands of Tulane. Coverage, like I said, from Victoria Svensson and our own John Ho. I was also corrected between segments. I guess Wheel of Fortune is on at 7, so I have to catch up on my bad television. But either way, we have the Minutemen loss, and we have Victoria Svensson here to break down the loss. So, Victoria, the Minutemen come out strong in this game. They put up, I believe it was 14 points right away within the first 4 minutes. But how did that compare to the way Tulane's offense progressed during this game?
Well, like you said, Tommy, the Minutemen came out ready to play. The defense did a great job getting Tulane off the field fast. Isabella had 2 quick touchdowns within 4 minutes, one off a fumble recovery of Marcus O'Daya, who's just a freshman. But by the end of the game, Tulane had doubled the possession time of UMass. They had 40-minute possession compared to 20-minute UMass possession. They had over double the amount of total rushing yards on the game. They had 27 first downs compared to UMass's 16. So you just can't win a game if you're not on offense. You can't score points if you are just having the ball for 20 minutes. UMass needs to find ways to make their drives last and get the ball back.
Yeah, it's a very good point. I mean, especially when you look at the fact that UMass, in the last 2 games, they've given up almost 500 rushing yards. Possession is huge in football. When you have a team running the ball for 200, 300 yards a game, that's a big clock chewer that can happen for the Minutemen. Now, Victoria, really interesting development. We've had this quarterback controversy all year. Andrew Ford gets pulled in the fourth quarter, quarterback who is 1-1 as a starter right now, gets pulled in favor of Ross Comas. Comas goes 5 for 11, runs for, I believe, 30-plus yards, throws for 60-plus yards, but no touchdowns. Why do you think that Coach Whipple made the decision to pull Ford this late in the game?
It's really hard to tell because when Comas is at the quarterback position, he's not finding much success, and the offensive line isn't having consistency. But within the past 2 weeks, Andrew Ford has demonstrated that he can really lead this offense to a victory. I mean, Comas hasn't led the offense to a victory. I think Coach Whipple really needs to make up his mind soon because the offense isn't going to have the success it is really looking for until they have a steady quarterback because, like we had discussed earlier, Comas is really mobile and it takes time for the offense to adjust to that. And Ford and Comas have very different quarterback styles and the offense isn't going to find their way to a victory until it's steady.
You're right, two very different style of quarterbacks. Ford is a very drop-back pocket passer who likes to spread the ball around, and Comas is more of a quick pass type of mobile quarterback. So difficult for the offensive line to adapt to that. Now, I do want to point out quickly, Marquise Young, who's been the team's top rusher, 10 carries for 45 yards. I don't know what your opinion is on this, but when your running back is a guy who can run for 100 yards a game, you feed him a little bit more, give him the ball a little bit more.
Too many drop passes, too many trying to lodge it down the field, trying to score some points in the end. We need to get it to the running back and more outside runs. He had a successful outside run in the first quarter that put them inside the 20 that really set up a good touchdown drive. So if we had more plays like that, maybe the offense would be a little bit more successful.
See, first curveball, I threw it all year. Great way to handle it. Now, before we finish out, we always like to go into next week and look at the preview. We're playing Old Dominion, a team just in the FBS like UMass that's also struggling this season. So what can you tell us about this game?
Yeah, they're 3-2. It is an away game, so it's always harder. But I feel both programs are experiencing some growing pains right now. They're both trying to figure out where they belong in college football. So it's a crucial game just to see how they fit in and how they, I believe it's a first matchup. So it'll be interesting to see how it pans out. And hopefully UMass can just get a win to boost them through the rest of the season.
I'm going to ask you for two predictions. First, who starts at quarterback?
Andrew Ford.
Who wins the game?
I hope UMass.
Well, there you go. Thank you, Victoria, for the coverage of that game. Don't touch that dial, though, because when we come right back, we're going to be with Allie talking some women's field hockey. Stay tuned. And welcome to Jeopardy! Just kidding. Or Wheel of Fortune, whatever you pick. Either way, we're moving on to women's field hockey. The field hockey team had one game this weekend. They took on St. Francis at Gladchuck Sporting Complex. Your very own Tommy Kaludi was the PA announcer, and your very own Allie Furlow was there with the coverage. So, Allie, I'm not going to give too much away, so I can defer to your coverage, but 3-0 game, Minutewomen win. Break it down for us.
All right, well, let's take a look here at this game breakdown that I have. As you can see, UMass really took control of this game offensively and defensively as well. For UMass, they obviously had 3 goals, as you said. They had 21 shots on goal and 21 shots in general and 18 shots on goal. Emily Hazard only had 1 save, but that was really because St. Francis wasn't in their defensive zone very much. And they had 6 penalty corners. On the other end, St. Francis University, 0 goals. It was a shutout. Only 3 shots, and 1 of them was on goal. Elizabeth Dyer, the St. Francis goalkeeper, had 15 saves, and they only had 1 penalty corner. So you could really see there that UMass really took control of this game right off the bat. Although they didn't score right away, they really did dominate this game.
That poor goalie for St. Francis. Like a firing squad, that poor girl. Now, you talked about the 3 goals. One of them was from Sarah Hawkshaw Jr., captain of the team. Hawkshaw has been really big the past 2 seasons. She came on as a freshman, was an immediate starter, and last year I'm pretty sure was an A10 All-Star. Now, she gets her first goal of the season. What do you think she does that makes this team and herself successful?
So we can take a look at that goal that she did have. It was off of a penalty corner, and here's an overview of what happened. So as you can see in this penalty corner, Izzy Delario is inserting the ball for the Minutewomen per usual. We have Hawkshaw, Kleena Lachlan, and Haley Cockrum all on the 16, along with Melanie Kirsch and Ann Dykstra. Delario inserts the ball to Lachlan, and you can see Cockrum cuts out and Hawkshaw comes in towards the net. Lachlan finds Cockrum over on the outside, and as Hawkshaw cuts in, Cockrum passes it, and Hawkshaw gets that one time into the net there. So you can see, Tommy, after the game, after Sarah Hawkshaw was really excited to finally make her first goal. So I feel like there's going to be a lot more to come from her as the season goes on.
Very nice strategic and tactical breakdown of that. I like that. Now, Allie, the next matchup we have for the Minutewomen is another A10 opponent, VCU. Good at basketball, not usually so great at field hockey. What can we expect for this next game?
Right. So on this graphic, you guys can see the records for both the teams. As Tommy did mention, VCU not the best at field hockey overall. They're 3-7 and 1-3 in A10 conference play. UMass 6-5 and now 2-0 in conference play after beating St. Louis and St. Francis. So I think, Tommy, if UMass plays the same way that they've been playing, especially against the way they played against St. Francis, and Coach Amy Robertson puts in that solid defensive line of Melanie Kirsch, Kleena Lachlan, and Shauna Rankin-Byrne, we can definitely see another W from these women.
All right, well, there you go. You have another UMass team having success in the A10. Not something we have frequently, so definitely something for you fans to cherish. Thanks a lot, Allie. When we come back, we're going to give you some updates on the men's soccer team and the men's hockey team, and Liam Burns is going to come in to talk some women's soccer. Don't touch that dial. And welcome back into the show. As promised, before we continue with our women's soccer segment, I'm going to give you a few updates. First, the men's soccer team took on Connecticut College today in a stunning event. They won 1-0 on a goal from Henry Steinkamp in the second half, so congratulations to them. Next week, we'll make sure to get you the coverage of that game and the breakdown. Also, we'd like to touch on quickly, the UMass hockey team played their first exhibition game against Dalhousie. After being down 5 goals, the Minutemen came back to win 7-5. They finished the game scoring 7-0, but down 5 goals, so just remember that. Coach Carvel gets a win in his first game, Liam. Always big.
Always promising, Tommy. Always promising.
And we'll give you coverage next weekend. UMass takes on Colorado College, 2 games at the Mullen Center, so make sure you show up, support the team, and we'll give you the coverage for that. Now, on to women's soccer.
Yes.
Liam, we have a double game weekend. Doesn't go the way we want it to.
No.
Very heartbreaking. What's the worst type of loss?
Worst type of loss is in overtime.
Worst type of regulation loss?
Regulation loss when they score in the 75th minute and you can't get any goals back.
So, Liam, a pair of 1-0 losses to LaSalle and Richmond this weekend. I just need you to shed some light. Why do these games go 0-0 until the 70th, 80th, even extra time minutes, and then we lose? What happens in those last minutes?
Yeah, it seems like almost every game has been really tough with the Minutewomen going into games. I mean, I think just it's been missed opportunities. As you can tell, I mean, in these past couple games, in the last 15 minutes of regulation against Richmond, we had 2 shots on goals that easily could have been in, and then against LaSalle, we had 4 in the last 22 minutes of regulation. And those are things that you can't really teach. Those are things you just have to do during the game. And in that sense, I mean, it's tough because you miss a lot of easy opportunities. And also just being outplayed. The Minutewomen have been truly outplayed in these last 2 games. 17-7, LaSalle shot over UMass. So 17 shots to UMass's 7. And then Richmond 15 over 10. And once again, the shot totals are key too. If you only get 7 shots in a regulation match, I mean, it's tough. And your opponent getting 17, it's hard to work with here, Tommy. Hard to work with.
Now, Liam, with a 1-0 game, you'd like to think that the defense is holding its own. Maybe the offense can't score. But like you said, 17-7 shots. That just tells me that opponents are all over UMass.
Yeah, I mean, we've been raving about the defense the past couple shows, and I mean, I think that's the main thing that they need to keep harping on. I hate being a broken record, but it's true. And defense has to complement the offense, and the offense has to make sure they're doing what's right for the whole team and the defense as well.
So I think I know where you're going with the next question, but we had Cassidy Babin in last show, and she's been the anchor of this team. It almost seems like she's the only bright spot. So with her in mind and some of the other stats that are important, what are the key statistics that come out of both of these A10 games that we should really focus on?
Yeah, I mean, from Richmond, the corner shots were key with UMass. I mean, you get a corner shot, it's an opportunity to score and just to press the ball into the box. So Richmond had 4 corners to UMass's 1. And only getting 1 corner out of a whole game, it just sees something that they're not pressing hard enough to get to the goal and to put the ball in the back of the net. Also, this has been a problem for UMass all season. Fouls. Like we said, they're very aggressive on defense, but a little too aggressive at times. 17 fouls in this one over Richmond's 14. So a very physical game. But in the LaSalle game, once again back to corners. 7 corners for LaSalle and 1 only for UMass. So no goals, 2 corner kicks, 2 corner kick opportunities, and way too many fouls for UMass in this one. And the shots, LaSalle 9-4. And it's just something we can't deal with. The Minutewomen have to find some way. Losing the first 2 games isn't too bad, but you have a long A10 season. It's got to figure it out somehow.
I mean, like we've talked about, defense. Defense does win championships, but if you can't put a ball in the net,
can't do it.
That means you don't put points on the board. You don't put points on the board, you don't win games.
Yeah. Logic.
That's math.
Yes.
Math is power.
Big math and logic.
So, Liam, as we've done all show, we're going to preview the next game. We got George Mason, another A10 opponent. Yeah. Winnable game for the Minutewomen. What should we look forward to?
Well, we hope it's a winnable game. They are in first place. They're 8-3, 2-0 in the conference, so they started off the A10 conference pretty strong. But what the Minutewomen need to do is to give more opportunities to their goal scorers. People like Megan Burke, Salma Anastasio, and Gabriella Kenyon, who are being mentioned in these games that they're getting opportunities, shots on goal, but they're just not burying it in. And UMass just needs to keep playing tough defense, as we keep mentioning. And Cassidy Babin, girl, keep it up. Because,
keep doing what you're doing.
She's doing what she's got to do to help her team win. She got 14 saves this past weekend, Tommy, and it's more of like just, you see one person performing the way that she's performing, help her out, help her out.
Don't hang her out to dry.
Don't hang her out to dry. I mean, it's great that, she mentioned last week how the girls are very, they get along a lot and everything like that on and off the field, but, in a way they got to help, the girl Cassidy out, and I think that's the one way they'll prevail over the first place George Mason team, Tommy.
There you have it. They can prevail against George Mason, and we believe that they will. Unfortunately, that's going to do it for us today. Like always, thank you for coming. Thank you for watching. We always enjoyed that. Remember, this was not Jeopardy or the Wheel of Fortune, so as I was scolded backstage for the incorrect scheduling time, but whatever. I'm not perfect. I never said I was. But we will be back here next week, Tuesday, 7 p.m. Like I said, we're going to have hockey coverage. We're going to have more men's soccer coverage, field hockey, and more UMass football. Like I always say, follow us, Twitter, Facebook, Snapchat, Instagram, Vine.
We're trying.
Yeah, we're trying. We're trying with Vine.
We're
getting it up there. Follow us, Facebook Live, so you can see the shows right away, either right after or during, and Periscope on Twitter. Have a great week, UMass. We'll be right back here next week. See you later.